You are Locked On Dodgers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, yeah, baby. That's right. Can you smell it? Can you smell it? No, not what The Rock is cooking. The World Series. Holy cow. Woo! Oh, that's what I'm talking about right there. Wow. I had a text all set up to send to my buddies, and it was like, can you smell that? Victory, World Series, and I was waiting to the final out. I am not jinxing this. Waiting to the final out. Masterful performance there from Dave Roberts. Let's give credit where credit is freaking due. And I got to be honest, I believe this World Series appearance is due to the fact that Andrew Friedman let Dave Roberts manage the effing team like a baseball team. Thank you. Finally. Stay out of it. Let a manager manage. It's baseball. You're a nerd in the front office. Stick to getting players in the dugout. Thank you. Yes. Oh, yes, we called for Dave Roberts. Well, not we. Nando and BC called for Dave Roberts firing many, many times. By the way, we'll get to all of this in a second. I'm just psyched and geeked and so, I can't even explain it. So awesome. I had so many good luck charms working. I had a hat on, my Los Angeles Dodgers trucker hat, there was at least one or two wins in that hat. After the first inning, when they scored that awful run, that with the ball that bounced over Kopech's head from Pete Alonso, I changed my hat immediately to this hat. Then I moved where I was sitting in the room to the other seat, which has been the lucky seat. Then I put on it's actually a Kentucky sweatshirt, but it's the Dodger blue. It's been good luck as well. And I also had my PrizePicks reverse psychology bet going. I had all the mojo and juju working. Welcome to the Locked On Postseason World Series appearance, Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen wherever you find your podcast on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Tonight we are brought to you by PrizePicks. Go to PrizePicks.com. It is, of course, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB to win $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. I am Pete Fox, host of the Locked On Dodgers Postcast, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. I have not been able to cover a World Series yet in my career. I have covered the Kings winning the Stanley Cup in 2014. So I've been a part of a championship, as an onlooker, but never like this. Obviously in 2020, when the Dodgers won, it was in the bubble. And a lot of people want to say that that wasn't a real championship. And we could spend a whole half hour discussing that. I go both ways. I can argue on both sides of that point if you want to know the truth. I feel like the people that say Alana Rizzo, former sideline reporter for the Dodgers, says that it was harder than winning a real World Series, a regular season 162 game World Series. I feel like that is a legitimate argument, a fair point, because there were no fans there. It was just everything about the routine was different. And the people that want to criticize the Dodgers for winning that World Series, I say to them the same thing that Alana says to people. She says, look, everyone that was in that postseason had the same opportunity to win as the Dodgers. The Dodgers got no special treatment in that postseason. They had the same opportunity, which is fair, but getting through 162 games and then the postseason and winning a World Series is a different deal. It's just different. So to take away from that World Series is not fair. To say it's the same as winning a regular season World Series is legitimate. It's also not fair. It's not the same. It's different. It could be harder. It could be easier. The bottom line is the Dodgers, the 1 seed, get through the week off, the rest week, the bye week. Down 2-1 to the Padres. They win game 4 on a bullpen day. And that's just remarkable in and of itself. Then they win game 5 at home in a rout. Then they move on to the NLCS against the Mets. They win game 1 there, lose game 2, win games 3 and 4 rather easily, comfortably. And then the Mets take care of stuff in game 5, take care of that and win it, forcing a game 6 tonight. And the Dodgers win it comfortably again. Although I don't know that any of us felt that this game was ever really out of reach, right? Did any of you go cracking beers or anything? I don't know that we did. You know what? I'm going to post, what is your name? Abzarat. I'm going to post this, but I'm not going to say it because this is how I feel. Let's effing go. That's right, baby. World Series, Dodgers, Yankees. Oh, it's freaking unbelievable. I mean, it's just too good to be true to a certain extent. This is the most frequent World Series matchup in the history of baseball. This is their 12th World Series meeting, dating back to the 40s or something. They last faced each other in the World Series in 81, I believe. Dodgers won that. So just, harkens back to the good old days. The 70s. Reggie Jackson, Catfish Hunter, Steve Garvey, Davey Lopes, Bill Russell, Ron Say, Steve Yeager. All of those guys. Frank's in the chat. Let's freaking go. Yes, Daniel. Happy Sunday. He's already predicting a World Series championship. I'm not ready to go that far yet. Yankees are the real deal. I look at that Yankee team and I go, I don't know any of these guys except for Stanton and Judge. That's it. I don't know who these guys are. The pitching staff, I don't know. Oh, of course, Soto. Yeah, I know Soto. The rest of these guys, I've never heard of them. I don't know what's going on. BC sharing some stats here in the NLCS. Thank you, BC. 7.67 runs per game in the NLC. Yankees are going to get destroyed. They're going to have to win close games. Look, the fact that Dodgers come into this just rolling the tip, as they say, putting runs up is tough to beat. It's going to be tough to beat. The pitching staff, obviously, is a tad bit beat up. We're one guy short, but I think the Dodgers have proven that that's not an obstacle for them. The bullpen day, they've changed baseball, this team. Dave Roberts and his staff have changed baseball. The fact that they've been able to win 2 key games with bullpen days is remarkable. And we all came in thinking, or at least I did, it's fine. I'm not the least bit worried. Now, how much of you took what happened in game 4 against the Padres into this game with a lot of confidence? Or were you worried because they lost game 2? I wasn't worried at all after game 2. Once we got through the second inning with Kasperius on the mound, I thought it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Game over. Such a good feeling. So much to talk about. We haven't even gotten into the game at all. We're already through one segment. Let's hit the break. We'll come back and break down the players of the game. I'm assuming, I don't know if it's up yet, but Tommy Edman has to be NLCS MVP. And as I said in the notes on the side, Tommy is the Ed man. Dude is on fire. Just stop batting left-handed, please. Stay in the right side of the box. Don't waste our time with this lefty-righty wannabe switch hitter stuff. You're too damn hot from the right side. It's a waste. You're wasting at bats batting from the left side. The splits are so lopsided, it just doesn't make any sense. Oh, but he's probably going to still do it. Luckily tonight we got him from the right side, got the scoring started, and hit a clutch home run 406 feet. So that's where we start breaking down the numbers. After the break, we'll get into Shohei's night. We'll get into Mookie Betts' night. Will Smith hit a bomb. The offense was rolling. We'll also break down the numbers of the bullpen. Did it all today. A 10-5 win. So the Dodgers move on to the World Series for the first time since 2020. And they'll face the Yankees for the 12th time. Bring it on, pinstripes. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Also, check out the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. That's where you'll find Jeff and Vince breaking this down and getting ready for the World Series as well. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers Postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. NFL fans, you can start the NFL season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You can also use FanDuel during the World Series that features the LA Dodgers. Get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Download the app or visit them online at FanDuel.com. All right, 10-5 the final today. Dodgers win the series 4-2. I really thought that. Put that in there real quick for you. Dodgers. I love my Dodger light. It's always usually up there above my head. So far away. I don't have anywhere else to put it that makes it closer. So I just have to grab it, put it in my hand. I don't know that I was terribly upset. I was a little kind of frustrated about the first inning because that pitch that Pete Alonso beat off of his hands from Michael Kopech was a really good pitch. And let's be honest, I think all of us were a little stressed after that first inning. Kopech was not rolling. He was clearly out of sorts. And Joe Davis and John Smoltz were breaking it down. Smoltz was all over it. He's like, this is not his routine. This is not what he normally does. This has to be hard for him. And he threw a wild pitch. I mean, it was ugly. He walked the first guy, wild pitch. Then it got a ground ball, then a big strikeout, then that infield single. And I also believe if Freddie Freeman's playing in this game, he catches that ball. That was Max Muncy's not nearly as long as Freddie Freeman. But again, we're not going to cry over spilt milk. We're also going to overlook the fact that Tom Verducci doesn't know the difference between the term uncharted water and unchartered water, which is surprising for him. He's a smart guy. He is a very good writer. How does he not know that? Come on. Uncharted. It's not uncharted. It has nothing to do with the boat. It has to do with the map. Uncharted waters. Just ask Joe Davis. He knows what it is. Anyway, we'll overlook that and move on. The fact that Kopech got out of that inning was awesome. He just gave up the one run. It's a tough beat. I mean, I thought that the play that Chris Taylor made over there was as good as you could do. And it's a tough cross-body running throw. Pete Alonso got down the line in a hurry, and the run scored there. So it was good for Kopech to get out of the inning, limit the damage, and turn it over to Kasparias, who got the win, by the way. Kasparias went 26 pitches, 1 walk, 2 hits, the rest 0. So he didn't strike anybody out, but got ground balls, had the off-speed stuff working, the slider primarily. So, I mean, how about Kasparias? Yeah, what a high leverage situation for him to be. He's pitched a couple of times in this postseason, but not in that sort of position. So as I've mentioned a couple of times before, getting these younger dudes innings in blowout games in the postseason pays off, because even though they're fairly low leverage situation, just pitching in the postseason in the NLCS for a guy like Kasparias, it means something to where he could take that experience, albeit very minimal, and bring it into this game and shut the door or keep the door shut. in the second inning. Then Bonda came in, little shaky there. We'll get back to the pitching in a little bit, but it was nice to see Ohtani with a leadoff single. Then Mookie didn't do anything there, but did later. Came into the game 7 of his last 12. So he finishes this series, if I'm doing my math correctly, 8 of 16. That's 500. So he was 1 for 4 with an RBI. If he started the game 7 of 12, that's 8 of 16. 500 for Mookie. How about that? Dude is rolling. And I predicted, not to you guys, I urged and demanded, if you will, that Teo has to get going. Teo has got to find some mojo. Get in the cage, work it out, follow Mookie's lead, take 200 or 300 hacks. And I don't know if he did that. I didn't hear any stories about it, but one pitch before he lined that ball off the center field fence, I texted my buddies and I said, Teo is going to get going tonight. And whack. He thought it was gone. We all thought it was gone. That was a low line drive that probably, if it was a little bit later in the night, would have gone. It was early, so the air was a little bit heavier, or thinner rather. When it's heavier, it travels farther because it supports the ball. So he, got a little butt chew in there from Dave Roberts because he didn't make it to second base, too busy trotting around first base as if he thought it was gone and it wasn't. So next time up, another single. He was hauling ass down the first base line. So 2 hits for him, and that was just so comforting. So nice to see. Ohtani with 2 hits, Betts with a hit, Teo with 2 hits, Tommy Edman 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs. Dude is absolutely locked in right now at a 2 RBI double, a ball that was on the outside changeup from Sean Manaea, which he hooked down the left field line. It felt to me like right out of the gate. I don't know if you guys saw this or felt this, but it just didn't feel like Manaea had his same sort of mojo, right? Command, dominance. It was just, he got Mookie in the first inning on a strikeout, and then he got Shohei on a fastball strikeout. He struck out Mookie with a slider down and in, or maybe it was a changeup, but he got Shohei with a 4-seam fastball up and in. He really humped up to throw that. And I felt like he was really reaching down deep to throw that fastball. And I didn't see anything like that again. The changeup wasn't great. The off speed wasn't great. The slider, it was all just average, like 90, 91. The touches were all over it. I'm like, they're coming in. They had a 795 OPS against left-handed pitching in the postseason. Pages, 357 versus left-handed pitching. Sadly, he was 0 for 5 because he kept swinging at bad pitches, as Pages will do. So, we were lucky to get 2 home runs from him in the losing effort in Game 4. I'm sure he'll see more at bats in this World Series, but he's a hit or a miss. He's not very consistent, and that's fine. If he can hit home runs here and there, let's go. We'll take it. Bonda got out of a bases loaded jam with a slider down and away. It was a very, very tough pitch to hit. I think it was, who did he strike? I think it was McNeil that he struck out. Just a really good pitch in a tight spot with the bases loaded. He nutted up right there and threw a tough pitch. The first 2 of that series were fastballs. And then Joe presented to John, you go back to the fastball or do you throw off speed down and away? And Smoltz answered so quickly, fastball again, right back at it. Like he can't hit the fastball. He can't catch up to it. And then he goes, but if you could throw the perfect off speed pitch, that would work too. And that's exactly what he did. Threw that slider down and away, and boom, strike 3, you're out, end of inning. So tight and clutch right there. As for Will Smith, a 2-run bomb. 413 feet. That was awesome. He absolutely mashed that ball to center field. That came in the 3rd inning with Muncy aboard. And most people at that point exhaled, relaxed a little bit. Maybe that's when you cracked a beer. That made it 6-1 at that point. Vientos then homered in the 4th, and we kind of sat up again in our chair. Okay, it's not over yet. Let's stay the course. Although some of my buddies who are the guys that are not Dodger fans, it's over. Relax, it's over. World Series, it's fine. The Dodger fans are like, slow down, not there yet. So let's be honest, right? Wouldn't you guys agree that this was the best game of the series without a doubt? I mean, it's still a blowout, but this was the most interesting game to me. And maybe that's because of what was on the line. Getting to the World Series. 10-5 the final. Kasperius gets the win on the bullpen day. We'll take the break, come back, and get into more of the bullpen's performance and throw some numbers at you from Tommy Edman, who is just lights out. Dude, thank you for joining the Dodgers. We appreciate it. That's where Friedman comes in. Thank you, Andrew Friedman, for your trade deadline acquisitions. Kopech, Edman, Jack Flaherty, who we have to hope is better than he was last time out. Hopefully next time he pitches, he'll be healthy and not sick. Come on, dude. If you're sick, sit down. Although I don't know that it would have changed anything. They probably still lose that game. And we're here right now the way we are. Yes, Victor. Nail on the head. 4 more to go. I was doing the outs in my text group. 12 outs, 9 outs, 6 outs, 3. Everyone's like, shut up. We know how many outs there are. I'll also tell you about my reverse psychology prize pick during this break. It's the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game and series is done. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers Postcast is brought to you by PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, where you get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players from 2 teams for a shot to win up to 100 times your money. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. I did my reverse psychology projection today, and you have to do 2 teams. You can't just do Mets. So I picked Manaea to strike out at least 3.5, 4 Dodgers. He only struck out 2. So when he was out of the game, I was like, yes, it worked. And then I had Mookie to go over 1.5. I think it was runs and RBIs and hits, and he did that. And then I can't remember who the other one was, but my reverse psychology on Sean Manaea worked out. So you're welcome there. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. You can also play the flex play, which means you can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. You can win 2. If you hit 2 out of 3, you can still double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. So download the app today, use the code LOCKEDONMLB, or you can go to the Locked On or the PrizePicks website, which is prizepicks.com, and you'll get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. PrizePicks, run your game. Dodgers moving on to the World Series after a 10-5 win over the Mets, who battled. You got to give them credit. They're a good team. They're not as hateable as the Padres. Jesse Winker's still under my skin. Not a fan. But Lindor, those guys seem cool. I don't have a problem with any of those dudes. Pete Alonso seems like a good dude. I don't feel bad for them or anything. They had a good season, right? Look, they battled. How many times did we hear Joe Davis say they were 10 games under 500? How many times did we hear Joe Davis say they were over 5 to start the season? And then they win the wild card series and move on. They beat the number 2 seed in the National League, the Phillies, rather comfortably. So they had a good season. They got a very high payroll. So it shouldn't be all that surprising that they do. I love how people are all Dodger hating right now. Screw the Dodgers. You've seen these funny memes where people are like, you look at like kind of like an election, you look at the map of the United States and it was all orange except for this little cluster of Southern California that was rooting for the Dodgers. I'm like, why does everyone hate the Dodgers? The Mets and Yankees have higher payrolls. Look, yeah, I get that Shohei Ohtani is not getting his full money right now. It's all deferred. So that brings the Dodger payroll down a little bit lower. If you broke down the 700 million over 5 years, they'd be number one. But my point is that the Yankees and Mets also have very large payrolls. So why is it hate the Dodgers because they spend money when everyone else is spending money too? I'm not trying to say, they're the Detroit Tigers who spend $180,000 on their lineup, but or 18 million, whatever. It's like 180,000 when you compare it to what the Dodgers have done, or the Mets or the Yankees. So look, it's not terribly surprising where we are right now. I think to a certain extent, it's kind of comforting, Yeah, it's nice to be a Dodger fan right now. I can understand why people are upset, and if you're a Cincinnati Reds fan or whatever, a Boston Red Sox fan, you're not spending the kind of money the Dodgers, Yankees, and Mets are. You're like, screw them. They're only winning because they send players on the field that they pay all this money to. They bought their championship. That's what we're going to hear. Regardless of who wins, we're going to hear the Dodgers and Yankees, it doesn't matter who wins, bought their championship. That's going to be the line from anyone who is not a New York Yankee or an LA Dodger fan. And to them, I say, wah, hate the game, not the player. Is that how it goes? How does that saying go? Hate the player, not the game. I don't know. Doesn't make sense in this situation, though. Back to the bullpen day for the Dodgers. Bonda, again, an inning and a third, gave up 1 run on 1 hit, struck out 2, got out of a bases loaded jam. Brazier came in. He gave up a home run. He gave up the Vientos homer. Went an inning and a third, gave up 2 hits in total, and got out of it. Other than that, he did fine. Evan Phillips, 1 inning, 2 strikeouts, 1 hit, the rest zeros. Daniel Hudson, 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 strikeout. Good outing for him, 14 pitches. And Blake Trinan, the 8th and the 9th, struck out 4, struck out the side in the 8th, and then the first guy in the 9th did give up 2 hits there after that, got out of it, sealed the deal, got the save, his 3rd of the postseason on 27 pitches. So the Dodger bullpen continues to shine, continues to perform, and continues to take care of business when they need to. And that is a very, very good position to be in heading into this postseason. Thank you, Nando. I thought of you first. Fire Dave Roberts still. Dave Roberts was utterly masterful. And as I said to start the program, I really feel like a big part of this win for the Dodgers is the fact that Andrew Friedman and whoever else is in charge over there let Dave Roberts manage. They stayed out of it with their analytics. Look, coming into a bullpen day, you have to forecast and project. You have to have a game plan. You have to. You can't just look at it, we're going to run these guys out there. They had to know how it was going to go. And I'm sure they did a ton of research, stats, evaluation, etc. The nerds in the basement worked overtime yesterday. And congratulations to them. They deserve a round of applause. What they put together in these 2 bullpen game wins for the Dodgers was masterful. Now, look, the players got to come out and perform, and they did. That they look at it and say, what's the right matchup here? What do we, where do we feel that these guys are going to fit the best? And they pieced the puzzle together, and it worked out. When you've got an offense like the Dodgers, it helps. It makes it a whole lot easier that they're not just trying to win this game with a bullpen by 2 runs, 2-1 or something. The fact that they were able to put up 10 runs made it a whole lot easier. Shohei with an RBI. Mookie with an RBI in the ninth. Teo had an RBI early on. Tommy Edman, the home run and the double, 4 RBI. Undoubtedly the NLCS MVP. Max Muncy was 0 for, but walked twice to get on base, scored a run. Kike, 1 for 4 with an RBI. Pajas was the only 0 for of the night. Will Smith, the homer, with a man aboard for 2 RBI. And Chris Taylor, leave it to me to wait till the very end of the show to talk about Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor, you haters out there, 2 hits. 2 hits today. 1 down the left field line with his big loopy swing and 1 into right field. I thought Chris Taylor had a fantastic game. His postseason batting average, 250. I got a buddy that was texting, or we played golf early in the week. He was like, Chris Taylor's a disaster. Oh, why do they put him in the lineup? Chris Taylor got it rolling. Who knows? We probably will see more of him in the World Series, because Gavin Lux is a little banged up right now. So they might go lefty righty in that matchup there. When it works out, I'm sure Chris Taylor will be in there against left-handed pitching, and Gavin Lux will be in there against right-handed pitching, as long as he's healthy. But either way, it's gonna be awesome. So go find some champagne in your garage refrigerator, or get a Budweiser out of if you have one in a bottle, it's a whole lot easier than in a can, unless it's a Canottle. Go into your shower, pop the top, shake it, and spray it all over yourself. It's a very unique, fun experience that you will never experience anywhere else. Go celebrate like the Dodgers are celebrating right now after a 10-5 win, moving on to the World Series to face the Yankees for the 12th time. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight, celebrating with me. Thank you for supporting us all season long. And now we hold our breath and relax until Friday. Today's what? What day is it? It's Sunday. It's so weird. I didn't watch any football today. I was like solely focused on this game. I went to return something at the Kohl's and Amazon deal, and the girl behind the counter that took my return was wearing a Yankees shirt. And after she returned my product, I pointed at her and I said, "See you guys next week in the World Series." And she was like, "Oh yeah, right. Yeah." She didn't know what I was talking about. So it's going to be great. Can't wait. We have a week to prepare, a week to relax and prepare. Don't forget, we got Locked On Chargers tomorrow night. They're playing the Cards on Monday Night Football. Thankfully, I'm able to do that game now because this one is over. Had there been a game 7, I would have had to punt on Chargers. But since the Dodgers wrapped it up, we got Chargers tonight. So make sure you check out Kenyon Barner and myself right here on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel right after the game. Again, congratulations to all you Dodger fans. Go celebrate. Enjoy it tonight because, it's a 24-hour rule. That's what they're telling everyone right now as they're spraying champagne on them. We're going to celebrate tonight, and then tomorrow right back to work. But they have the whole week off to rest and prepare. The World Series gets going on Friday. I believe it'll be Yamamoto for the Dodgers if everything holds true to form. Have a good night. Once again, thank you for watching and listening. I'm Pete Fox. We will talk to you tomorrow after the Chargers game. And then on Friday, actually, no, you know what else happens next week? Clippers get their season going on Wednesday. So I'll be doing Locked On Clippers on Wednesday. So tomorrow, Chargers, Clippers on Wednesday, then World Series game number 1 on Friday. We will talk then. Have a good night.